So today I wanted to go over who I consider to be one of the most tragic characters in comic history, in my opinion, and one of the coolest characters as well, and that is going to be the Incredible Hulk, right? So people will say that Superman is kind of comparable to the Incredible Hulk in terms of like, oh, he's tragic because he lost his entire. He did lose an entire species, but Superman never knew those people. He never cared about those people. Well, he did care about them, but he didn't really care about them. Like, he never knew them, right? He didn't really lose people because people were Earthlings. And he had a good family life. Like, he had Martha Kent. He had, his father, whatever Kent. He had a good life, right? At least compared to the Hulk, in my opinion. And Batman, yes, Batman did lose his parents and he did lose some people. But that was the most tragic as it really got for Batman, in my opinion. And the rest of the stuff that happened to Batman was Batman's fault. Like him losing Jason Todd, yes, that was a very tragic thing, and it was definitely really bad and definitely put a toll on Batman. But that was Batman's own fault. He put a child onto the field who was only a kid, so that was Batman's fault, and he knew it was his fault. So the tragedy that happens to Batman is kind of Batman's own doing, minus his parents and a couple other tragedies. Meanwhile, the Hulk he's different, and I'm going to tell you why. So the Hulk, he's always angry. People are always wondering, like, why is the Hulk so angry? Like, he's so angry. It's the gamma radiation. Yes, the gamma radiation makes him more angry somehow, some way. It gives him anger, right? But it's not only the gamma radiation that makes Hulk angry, and that goes back to his origin. Because when Bruce Banner was a kid, right, when he was a little child, his father was jealous, right? His father was jealous of the love that Bruce's mother gave to him, because he wanted all of her love, and he wanted it just to be him. And she loved Bruce Banner more than she did love him. Or at least he felt that way. And the Hulk was there too. Now, the Hulk may not have shown himself, but he was there in Bruce's psyche. He just wasn't able to manifest himself. But he was always there. And so his father took out his hatred for Bruce Banner, and he did it viciously by hitting his mom because he felt that she did not love him enough. And he also hit Bruce Banner. And he abused Bruce Banner. So when Bruce Banner's like getting angry and stuff, it's because of his father's abuse, not only to his mother, but also to him. And, he wants to be left alone because of that. Right? And the Hulk was always there. And the Hulk wanted to do something. He wanted to protect his mother. He wanted to do something, but he never could. And that's why I say the Hulk is one of the most tragic characters. Like, his birth is tragic in and of itself, and that he wasn't even able to defend anyone. He wasn't even able to do anything because he was stuck in Bruce Banner's psyche, and he couldn't help their mom, who got hurt by Bruce Banner's father. And Bruce Banner's father, he just hated Bruce Banner because he saw him as a monster. He looked, because of the gamma radiation studying and stuff like that, he began to see Bruce as a monster because he was born, with all the gamma radiation that he was using, he thought that Bruce Banner may have had different DNA and was probably a genetic freak and a monster. And you could say maybe he was a little bit right because of the Hulk manifestation, but it was definitely, he never manifested that before the gamma radiation and stuff like that. So Bruce Banner's father was just a mean guy to him, and Bruce Banner did nothing. He was innocent of pretty much anything, but his father, I guess, didn't see it that way, and he abused Bruce Banner due to the love that Bruce Banner's mother had for him. And so another sad thing about the Hulk is that the Hulk didn't want to be the Hulk, right? The Hulk, he was born out of Bruce Banner trying to save someone from a gamma bomb that was about to go off. And because Bruce Banner is he's a hero, even without the Hulk, he's a hero. And he went and he saved this person, and he sacrificed himself. He didn't know he was going to survive. And he got hit by the gamma bomb, and it awakened the Hulk, right? And so we have these different variations of him. The Green Hulk was released. And that is all of Bruce Banner's suppressed rage and anger at never being able to protect his mom or even himself from his father. So that's why he's always angry, is because he never was able to protect himself nor his mother. And the Gray Hulk, or the Joe Fixit Hulk, is just Bruce Banner. Since he never really was, having fun or doing anything else that teenagers was doing, that's the manifestation of him just doing that. being free and, having fun and stuff like that, which he never really did. He was really dedicated to his studies instead of partying and stuff that other people were doing. He wasn't really doing that. And the Devil Hulk is Bruce Banner's manifestation of just both the father he never had and his hatred of humanity, because he doesn't really like Bruce Banner. He has a hatred for humanity because he doesn't feel like they're doing the right things, and the Devil Hulk is the manifestation of that, and also of the father that Bruce Banner never had, and the Devil Hulk is that father that Bruce Banner always wanted. And so every time he's saying, leave me alone, that's the Hulk basically saying to his father, leave me alone. And his father continues to haunt the Hulk. That's why the Hulk is always so angry, because he can't get his father out of his head. And that's what I mean when I say the Hulk is such a tragic character. Not only that, but the people who are closest to him, the people who are supposed to be his friends, they send him to space. And he's like, he was trying to help them. He was trying to save the world. And what do? They send him to space. They send him to another planet because they don't think he's safe on Earth. And if you ask me, that's the stupidest thing ever. Like, why would you send a person to another planet who can potentially save all of your lives, who's one of the greatest heroes of all time, and just send him to another planet because people mind control him and make him go on rampage? Not Hulk. Hulk doesn't do this on the regular. People mind control him, or they manipulate the Hulk into doing this stuff. And yet he gets all the blame. The Hulk somehow winds up with all the blame. He's always the monster. They shot him into space. And of course, Hulk's going to get angry and stuff like that. And so he goes not to the planet they intended to. But regardless of the fact, they shot him into space because he was being, mind controlled and went on a rampage in Vegas. Despite the fact that he was being mind controlled and it wasn't really his choice. Not only that, the way they did this, the way they got him into space, was by sending him there to actually save people from getting hurt by this, adaptable android thing. So they sent him there to help them, under the guise of helping them, but really that was all the plan, just to get sent into space so they could get him away. So Hulk was trying to help these people, and they shot him into space. That's what I'm saying. His friends betrayed him. And I don't know of any hero who kind of goes to this thing on the regular like the Hulk does. Another example of heroism from the Hulk is that he destroyed a meteor that was going to destroy the Earth. He destroyed it, right? And he saved Earth like so many times, and yet the hero still thought that it was right to send him to another planet to betray him, even though he saved them so many times. This is him smashing Onslaught's armor. Onslaught is a very powerful mutant between, what is his name, Magneto and Professor X. And he just combined both their powers and became this very powerful mutant. And basically no one could crack his armor, and they were trying to defeat him, and Hulk was there. And he got angrier and angrier. He was able to crack Onslaught's armor. And that was something that, it didn't really help in the end, but still, he was trying to save people. And that's what I'm saying with this, is that the Hulk is not a monster by choice. He's a monster just because of people around him, honestly, because people make him out to be that. And so here's when he comes back to New York after being shot into space or whatever, and he's angry at the heroes. And as you can see here, this is Doctor Strange, right? Doctor Strange is literally, when he uses his power, he's out of control and he's hurting people. He's not thinking about this. And Hulk's protecting them. Despite being in the highest state of rage in his entire life, he's protecting these people. And that's what I love about the Hulk. That's why he's one of the most tragic characters in my opinion. Because he's saving people despite being in the most angriest form in his life. And I don't know if a lot of other superheroes could do that. He's literally saving these people when he's at the most angriest point in his life. He still knows what's right. And that's why I don't like the rest of these heroes. That's why I think Hulk's one of the most tragic heroes. Despite doing the most good, he's still the most hated. And Doctor Strange obviously forsook his morals. And people say he's a better hero than the Hulk. Like, get out of here. How is he a better hero than the Hulk when he forsook his own morals? Hulk was able to maintain those morals despite being in the angriest point in his life. And every time he finds a moment of happiness, like when he meets Jarella right here, every time he finds a moment of happiness, once again, it's taken away. And, she dies. She dies. When Hulk first finds happiness, let's say he first finds a wife and all that stuff, she dies, right? And, it just happens to the Hulk. He goes to this planet Sakaar. He finds Kyra. He finds someone that he loves. He finally is a king. He finally has found happiness and is awaiting a child on the way. And this is one of the first times I think Hulk was really like truly happy, and truly felt like he belonged somewhere. So this is why it makes me. This is why to me he's the most tragic character, one of the most tragic characters. And then he loses her, tries to save her, but he can't, and she dies, and he thinks it's the Marvel heroes who did it. And it's like this is like one of the saddest moments. He lost two people, and one of them was carrying his child, and he loved her. And then she died, and despite all that, despite all this rage that's permeating after losing her, he's still able to maintain his morals inside World War Hulk, where he goes to New York and hurts all these heroes. He's still able to maintain his morals, which I don't think a lot of the other heroes could do, like Hulk. And he saves people all the time, but despite all that, people still view him as a monster. They still don't see, no matter what, they still really don't see the Hulk as a hero, but as a monster. And that's really the sad part about a lot of the things the Hulk goes through. And he talks to Hawkeye, and Bruce Banner talked to Hawkeye, and he's like, "Hey, can you build me something so that if I ever do turn to the Hulk again, could you take this arrow, which I specially made and all this stuff, and it'll kill me, right? But this way, the Hulk persona won't come out again." And it's just like, the thing is, and I know people are like, well, Bruce Banner told him to. Well, the thing is, when your friend tells you to kill him, maybe you shouldn't do it. Maybe if you're a real friend, you wouldn't actually kill him. And that's the thing I hated about this, is that he literally killed the Hulk. And he's like, oh, well, Hulk told me to do it. What kind of excuse is that? And even Captain Marvel, and I hate Captain Marvel, at least in this particular series, even she's like, she's all with the Civil War and stuff. She's all with the cold and hard, stern stuff. And she's like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, why did you do this? Why are you doing this? And Bart's just like, oh, Bruce Banner told me to. Are you kidding me? Or what's his name? Clint? Whatever his name is. That's why I don't even care about Hawkeye. But he literally kills the Hulk. And he's supposed to be one of his best friends. And that's why I say Hulk is one of the most tragic characters who was killed by one of their best friends. Despite the fact that you're supposed to be one of his friends. I wouldn't even say Clinton's one of his friends. I would just say that Bruce Banner thought he was the only person who could do the job. Who would do that? Who would do that? And you're supposed to be a hero. And that is why I would say Hulk is the most tragic character. And obviously, the Hulk comes back as the Immortal Hulk. And we find out he can never actually die. And, this is why I think Hulk is one of the most tragic characters in probably comics in general. Because I don't know of that many other comic characters that have gone through the kind of stuff that the Hulk's gone through. And, despite all this, he still maintains, being a good person, at least, in some editions. He has done some crazy stuff now. But the Hulk, that was a different type. That was the Devil Hulk. But the Hulk, the base Savage Hulk, is not a evil character, and is not. I guess you could say he is kind of a monster when he gets angry, but he still maintains his morals. Despite all that, and that's why I would say the Hulk is the most tragic character, because he's a hated character pretty much by everyone that's a person. And that's just a regular human in the Marvel 616 universe, and yet he's one of the greatest heroes of all time. It's probably one of the most kindest people.